Hey everyone, Average Joe Flyer here. Today's video is a couple of dead sticks I experienced with the Top Flight AT6 as well as the Aeroworks Pro 260. Here we see I'm standing out on the runway. Now there was nobody else on the field with me that day, and I was a little nervous about taking off with this aircraft. This is only the second time I've flown it. There was a little bit of wind, so I was worried about ground loops or some issues with taxiing. So I stood directly behind it. When it was ready, released it and let it go. It seemed like a pretty smooth takeoff here. The OS 95, the 4-stroke, has plenty of power. And right about here is when I went to retract the gear and the engine shut off. Now that's typically not supposed to happen. And this happened because on all of my other models that have retractable landing gear, I put the switch on the left side. Well, on this one, for whatever reason, that left switch was the throttle cut, and the gear was actually on the right side. This is a mistake that happens to a lot of people, and one that you really have to be aware of. Always try to set up your switches the same for every single airplane, if you can. Now on some models, it requires a lot more configuration and a lot more switches, so sometimes you can't do that. In cases like that, it's good to check it beforehand on the ground, burn it into your memory before taking off. So let's go ahead and resume the video and see how this landing goes.
We are coming in for a dead stick landing. Nice.
And that was pretty nice. Now I was lucky enough that I gained enough altitude to come in for a pretty easy landing. And this Top Flight AT6 does have pretty good glide performance. For the next video, I'm flying the Aeroworks Pro 260 46 size with a Sato 82. Now that the engine is started and adjusted, I set the plane down on this little ledge here so it won't roll forward, and head down to check my camera. So I run down and change some settings, set up the interval shooting. Beep boop boop beep beep boop boop. There we go. Head back to the plane and get ready to take off. Now to get the best shot for this, I wanted to take off directly into the camera. It was pretty windy, so that was kind of hard. I think I did a pretty good job, as you'll see in a second here. And there we go. All of that work and over 1,000 pictures to get this, which turned out okay. I was hoping for a little more height when the picture was taken. I'll have to do a couple more tries to get it perfect. So now we fast forward a little bit here, as I'm going to try to do some 3D in front of the camera and see if I can't capture it in a hover. Now I'm coming for a low approach here. I snap it up. It wasn't a good entry into hover, so I decided to just pull out of it, go back around and try again. And that's when the engine started to hesitate, wasn't responding as it should, and eventually died. I was lucky here because I had enough altitude, and this plane really does like to float. I could bring it all the way back and land it almost perfect. Now this scenario could have been a lot worse, as the engine could have died while I was pulling into that hover. The issue I found was the gas line on the inside to the clunk was deteriorating, It had been used for a while now. Now it is good practice to change those every so often, just so situations like this don't come up. Thank you all for watching another video with me, the Average Joe Flyer. For more videos like this, visit my website listed in the description below.